everyone, this is Paula, and I am here today to show you my design team project for August for Tracie Fox Love Junk Journal on Etsy. In this process, I am going to be showing you the results of something that inspired me by Wendy's Journal Adventures. It was like a hinged booklet. So there's no sewing involved, just need glue and scissors and paper. So what I did was make a journal. Now, you can do it with all kinds of goodness. You can do it with bags and envelopes and all kinds of things. In this journal, there is the tag fab kit that Tracie and Artie Mays made, and the assemblance and rather random mixed labels, dispatches, digital papers, butterflies, all kinds of butterflies, watercolor toadstools, the tags, T-cards, variety of fancy labels, and more. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Those are just a few of her kits that came to my mind. Now, I know there's a variety of things. There may be a few little things from Artie Mays I couldn't remember, and it would take a long time to research that. So I'm going to show you the first one I made. This was like just a bag that I decoupaged and wasn't that crazy about. I just took some random things, and I took muslin and just made strips to make it hold these things together. And if we have time at the end of this video where I show you Tracie's goodness here that I made, then I will maybe try to show you how to do this. It's real easy to get confused, and I will be honest, mine's probably not 100% correct, but I did the best I could. So this is it, and I'm going to hold it up and kind of show you, see all the yumminess in the binding. It's just a new fun look. It's easy to do. You don't want to use heavy stuff, I wouldn't think, or real bulky things, although if you have like a pamphlet you've made, that would be okay. I heard that it's recommended you don't use more than 6 to 10 things as far as pages, and it looks like I did. We'll count them as we go. So I just took some of Tracie's different pages, okay, and I stitched around some. I did just different various things. I used labels, and I used little words, different words, be your best, dream big, some of that kind of stuff. I popped things up off the page to give it some depth, and I popped up the wings on the butterflies, and so I just had fun with it. I added a ruffle, I added some sari silk, you know, I had just an very old vintage lace right here. I used washi tape. I made just all kinds of fun. I did all kinds of stitching in the book. And so I'm just going to flip through it real quick and let you see. I'm not going to tell you what anything is or where it came from. I recommend you go to Tracie's link, which I'll put below, and look at her different kits. All of it will be familiar to you. You can't go wrong with any of her kits. Okay, but after a long time of working with her stuff, I've accumulated a lot of little things here and there. So I just wanted to make sure I don't waste. I love having all the little things mixed together, that, you know, the ones that don't have enough to keep for a kit or whatever. So I have fun using them. Okay, so I'm going to flip through this. I folded a 8.5 by 11 page and started from there, and then I stacked them in the order I wanted. This is a journaling page here. I stitched around it, and I will tell you, I stitched after the fact. I recommend you stitch before you put it together. I wasn't thinking. So I did this ruffle here. And it's very dark linen-like fabric. You can do it is what I put as a prompt. I like to put prompts on my pages in my journals. I don't always do it, but I do love the look of it. Okay, here we go. So see, this right here is one paper folded. And then you can see here where I put the muslin strips. And here's a little bit of goodness. Here's some of the tags. I put a little tab on the side and put journal on that little tiny tag, and then slid it under this other tag. Used some more of this wonderful fabric and just did a variety of things. Used, you know, like an old vintage letter and just on and on. Tickets, little mini, tiny tags and flowers and birds. And because I used just regular paper, I think if I had used cardstock, it would have made it bulky, more bulky, but it would have also maybe not wrinkled a little bit on me. But I will tell you, my printer is broke. And so I just decided I had these pages, they needed to be used, and there you go. And so that's why I ended up using them, and I really love how it turned out. Honesty, always. Here's some washi, Tim Holt washi, and just butterflies from labels from some of her vintage label sets. Just everything you can imagine here. Tracie has come up with so many little bitty things. Look at this little picture right there. I love how it turned out. So the key to me was using different kinds of stitches, putting prompts on the pages that you journal on, and every other page is a total journal page. Okay, the only thing that's decorated is the front sheet. Now I might add some ruffle or something like that, and the back of the sheet on some of them. So here's another butterfly, just popped up this ticket butterfly. Who knows, there may be some random little item in here that might not be anybody's we know. So, you know, hopefully I got it right though. And here I love this wavy stitch and the leaf. Everything is possible. This is an encouragement type little journal. I will be putting this in my shop just for those of you that want to know. Let's see. Just this is some of the post office, you know, definitions. Here's the mushrooms. And this is her latest assemblage, I think is the name of it. And then you have these little tags that open up and you journal on the inside. This is one of her older labels. And then I just took one of her butterflies that had some of the same colors, turned the label sideways, put the little butterfly and raised his wings. And I think he turned out super cute. Okay, nothing is impossible. Then I put a little mushroom tab down here, and when I flip it over you'll see that it's right there's one on the other side. And then I just did mushrooms and flowers, mushrooms and flowers. And this I just put as a notes page. Follow your heart, music sheet, live, laugh, create. Here's one of these, a half of one of those little tags that go in those tiny little pockets. And then on this side, I used some of the little circle embellishments, and I put it all matters, be passionate, free, feel free, or feel excited, and fear nothing. And I just put on this image that was on the paper to be true. And I think that it turned out really cute. When I was working on this, I wasn't over the top worried about it being perfectly neat. Although I think it turned out pretty neat, but I I just liked using different fabrics. Like this is some cheesecloth here. Another one of those. It says field notes. I added some bugs in here as well. Feel excited. Here's a couple more of the tags. I think we'll always remember the tag digital set, just because you never need a tag again. You just reprint it and you've got tags for months. And I put this little fussy cut bird that came off of one of the embellishment pages that went with the tag kits. And I just add, this is a muslin picture behind here that had stitched, Tracie had stitched around it, and I just added some of these little bird images because I wanted to use him, and I put more images here. And then if you look, this tab says journal, and here is a little tag you can journal on. I made side tucks out of all the tags and so forth. Here is the Live Passionately, and here is the last tag that I used. And I did the same thing with these here with the different ones. And then there's two tags. One says journal, and one says notes. And I just slid them right in here. And I like the way that looks. Added a couple tabs there, or labels there. Embrace the crazy. You know, I do this every day. I embrace the crazy. So I figure if I had this book, I would be writing something very interesting. And here is tea cards. Tracie has any tea card you want. I don't know that for sure, but as far as I'm concerned, she has everything I need when it comes to tea cards. It says, you matter, listen and learn. Boy, I have learned a lot as a journaler. You got this. That's a key prompt to end with. So, I love this journal. Tracie, thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you and your team. And once again, I hope you guys love how it turned out. And I will put this in my Etsy shop. I'll link Tracie's YouTube and Tracie's Etsy below. Now, just real quickly, I think we have a little bit of time. So, again, I don't know if I'm doing this completely, you know, correct, but watch Wendy's videos several times. So you kind of put it in the order you want it in, you know. Now, as far as this goes, you always want your envelopes to the outside or any kind of opening. Your bag, you want the front here. You want the front of whatever to be facing you here. This is got it's a policy holder. Here's a time card. Here's a little embossed glassine bag. Blue envelope with it's out that way. Here's another bag. I just kind of did some fun things. Here is an old return payment envelope. Here's a vintage flashcard. And here is an O bag that I tea stained and stamped on. So there's no real rhyme or reason. So let's see how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going to take one out, which is going to be this glassine bag. I have a feeling it's not going to look as good as I think it would. Now, I don't know if I have enough of these rags for this many. So as we go along, we may have to do away with some, okay? Now, I'm using Fabri-Tac just, you know, because. Now, you put on the outside, you can start with 2, which a lot of people do, but I like to start with 3 because it just seems more secure. Now, I did go back on mine, and if something didn't seem secure enough to me, because I'd never done it, I would go back and add. And, you know, you can't even, you know, tell. These are probably about 2 inches long and probably 1/2 inch or a little wider. Now, what you do is you start, let's see, let me think. You start here in the middle. All right, and then down here, you want to kind of space them out, you know, where they're about, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if you space them out just like you want them, it'll be fine. And then you will get sticky, and you just lay these 3 down here. Try to keep them kind of even if you can. It looks nicer. If not, if you have a lot that doesn't have glue on them, you can go back and do that. Okay, now flip this over just like that. Now you've got all your tabs there. Now the next thing you want to do is your bag. Okay, so you want your bag facing front. Now I'm going to lay this bag. Oh, maybe I want to switch something different because I put those out pretty wide. Well, regardless, let's do something a little wider to start with. How about we do the time card? Okay. You just kind of have to watch what size, you know. So you're going to lay these down. You put them on the front, and then you flip it over, and you always lay the next item in the position you want it to be. Allow just a tiny bit of space right there, and we're going to add 2 on this one. You alternate. So right here is the center of the 2 that are the 3 that we just put down. Right here, see? So you're not gluing to both sides yet. You will in a minute. Okay, and then here is this one. Okay. Now, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to flip it over. So you've got one with 2 on the front and one with 2 on the front, but we flipped it over. So now we're going to flip this over, and we're going to line it up with the edge of the first envelope we used. Okay, so just like that. Now, we just attached 2 to the time card. We don't want to use those. We want to use the ones from the first one. So you always rotate. You never use the one that you just put on that item, okay? So you want to kind of pull it. I like to pull them kind of tight so that it's not baggy. And as you can see, we'll have to go back and trim some of these. I always cut extra just so I know I have the right amount. So here we go. We're gonna flip that over so you can see that attached. See? It's just really cool the way it works. Okay, now that we're down to 2 here, I think we're safe to put our bag. Now, you need to understand, we need to kind of put it in between, so maybe it will work. It might not get all of the tabs that, you know, the others were. Like, see, for instance, this one needs to have 2 also, it looks like. Okay, here we go. We're just going to hope that it works. It's really hard to figure out the first time you do it, especially when you're doing multiple sizes. I felt like it was harder than, whoops, see, I just started to do that. Do you see what I just about did? I want to grab that up real quick. I almost glued in all 3 spots. You have to really think about what you're doing, and we're just matching up to the one we can see in the crack of the page. Okay, so this one just needs 2. We're going to put 2 on here. All right, we'll do this one down here first. And I know there's probably some ancient name to doing this. You know, I feel like I've seen these things done once upon a time. And, you know, maybe it was from an earlier time, much earlier time. Now, we're going to line, oh, something's not right. Let me think for a minute. So this is what gets you right here. Okay, so we put 2 or 3 on this one, and then we did this, and we brought the 3 over, and now we're doing the 2, which means I should have done 3 on this. I'm saving this for the next one. It just doesn't seem to want to work out in here for me. So let's see. Let's do like this instead. Okay, so let's do this one, which because they had 3 last time, we do need to do, wait a minute. Let me think. If you do 2, and then you flip this over, it's going to come back on it as 2. So this one needs to have 3. You alternate. Hello, Paula, you alternate. Okay, so this one's going to have 3. Then we'll put the back. But see, this is pushing toward the edge a little bit. So just pay attention. Try to get it as straight across as you can. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's the nice thing about junk journaling. Does not have to be perfect. Okay, so there we go. And here we go. We are showing our house today. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay. For those of you that don't know, I am moving from Oklahoma to Branson, Missouri. We're going to retire there and hopefully have all kinds of fun. Okay, so we're going to turn this over, keep it lined up with the other 3, but it's also going to take you to the center. And this time we're going to add this over to the 2. Okay. Keep your 3 for the next one. And we're going to take this and pull it over. Yeah, when Wendy was making hers, you need to go check out our video. I'll try to remember to link it below. But when Wendy was doing hers like this, she said, don't be surprised if you get confused because it is easy to do. Okay, so now we're back to this one. And we needed to put 2 this time. So we're going to flip it over. And it actually will get, yeah, it will actually get 3 put on it. But this right here could be a problem, but I'm not going to worry about it. Let it be a problem. So we're going to, wait a minute, I'm thinking. So we got to put the 3 on first. Listen, I was so confused the first time I did it, but you just have to play with something first that's not important, and then you'll have a lot more fun when you do your real project. When it's all over and everything is dried, I come back and I cut these little extra pieces off, and yeah, and it works perfect. You want to pull this part as tight as you can because it does work better if you do that. Okay, so now we have just this policy thing, so we want that to be this way, right? And so this is the front. So we're going to go like this, and we're going to line this thing up just like this. And what we'll do, what we can do, when you're done, you can go back and decorate this any way you want. And we're not going to do that because I know, you know, everybody would want to decorate different. I might. I'll just have to see how my time is. Okay. Now, you know, my time is crazy right now. Like even doing a video, my phone gets turned off and I can't, the realtor can't call me for appointments. So when my husband's here, it's not so bad. I've got him answering the phone. My poor husband, he is so worn out. Okay, so now we're going to flip this over. And we're going to line it up with these the best we can and line it up with the other items. Now, give me a second to think. All right, so we should have just added 3 instead of 2. Because when you flip it over, yep. So let's just pull them off real quick. And that's the thing. You need to pull them off real quick when you know that. Okay, so let's line it back up again. And I'll get that glue off in just a second. We're going to line it up with 3. And honestly, this is what I did when I made my other one. I just had to take my time and not have any distractions. And of course, I wasn't talking to you guys. So that kind of helps too, you know, but it's not a biggie. I don't really mind at all. So first thing I'm going to do, you can reuse these when you do that. Just remember, I still don't know if I did this right, but I think I am. It's easy to get just totally confused, especially if you've never done it before. Okay, it's easy to get confused. All right, now I'm going to quickly get my adhesive stick here and get this off. You got to be gentle because this isn't just an envelope. It's a little bit heavier. Okay. Now, there we go. Whoops. So we have a wrinkled envelope now. Just straighten it up the best you can. And I have a little bit of glue sticking out right there. So you do have to make sure your glue is not going crazy so that your pages don't stick together. I still had a few stick together a little bit, but it's not a big deal. Let me move some of this piles of glue out of the way. Okay, so that's our top, and we're going to flip it over just like this. Now see, it's making more sense because you alternate. Now we're going to put the 2 on this side. See, I like that when I make mistakes, you can see what I do because it does help. If you watch someone that doesn't make mistakes, which is a lot of people besides me, it helps to see how they fix it. But I did notice on some of the videos that I've seen, theirs aren't perfect either. I don't feel so bad. Okay, so this will go on the back of that. So now we need to put, this one seems crooked, doesn't it? Let me see if I can fix it. It does seem crooked. It's coming around like it's crooked. I don't know what I did, but needless to say, there, that's better. This one's kind of crooked too. All right, so now we're going to do this one, and we're going to add 2 to this side. Hopefully I'm right. So what it amounts to is one side will have 2 things, and the other side will have 3 of each item. So like this has 2 on the front, and it's going to have 3 straps on the back. Right? Now you're going to flip it, lay it up here, and now we need to put the 3 on this bag. I don't know if I can get all these items on here or not. I'm not going to worry about it. You can always go back and cut some more. I don't have any right here in front of me, so we'll have to stop when we get to the end. But you can always go back and add. This is what I understand too. So you can add straps, add more items to your book if you feel like it can handle more pages. Okay, so there we go. Now, let me see how many straps I have left. Oh, I've got enough for a couple more things. Now, I love this envelope, so I decided I wanted to put it right here. Now, you do have to make sure you allow for the other side to get more, more straps. So I'm going to go like this, because see, this would really need to have 3. This one may have to wait for now. I think it's not going to work because you need to have bigger things. In my opinion, it looks better. Okay, so we're going to have this window envelope here, and we're going to add 2 to start with. Okay. There you go. I'm going to lay this right here. Okay, here we go. I'm going to flip it over. Nope. See, that's not right either. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we had 2, so we need 3. That's what you have to remember. But again, I'm learning just right along with you guys, because I thought for sure that's what I needed, but it's not. So try this one more time. Let's put 3 on this. And then I'll erase those just like I did in the last one. You would have thought I'd learned in the last one, right? Doesn't work like that. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Put the same sticky spot back down. I'm trying here. I think Wendy actually used a lot of different sizes. Okay, now, whoops, we better get that sticky off or we'll have a problem, right? So I'm just going to do it just like I did the last one. Try not to rip a hole, because then you can't use it. It does kind of change the color of your envelope when you do this, but that's all right. This is just a practice. I'm going to move that back so it doesn't get built up glue all over it. And you do have to be careful because your envelopes, obviously, as I've showed you a couple times now, will bend. Okay, I'm going to try my hardest not to let that happen again. My mind is so, I know you guys know what it's like when you move. And you love where you're at, but you don't, you know that you got to do something different. And you don't have to. We don't have to. But we want to retire where it's just beautiful. And so that's what we plan on doing. Okay, so now I need to add the 2 on the back of this, because there's 3 on the front. So you do alternate. Let me get this on here straight. Now we'll put 2 on. And then we need to remember that the next time it has to have the opposite. I think Fabri-Tac works the best doing this because it's it has a quick dry. Okay, now let's go ahead and just do the bag now, because I don't want this video to go on and on. It was really just supposed to be the flip through of the design team project. Okay, now we're going to do 2. And because it's the last one, we're not going to add any more. These will go over the back. Okay, let me see how many we've used. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll have 8. And that honestly is perfect, because we're going to run out of our little strips. So we're going to do right here like this. I think we're going to end up with just enough. Now we're just adding it here, and then we'll flip it over. And normally, I'm trying to remember exactly how the ending is done. That's the part I don't really know that well. But, because see, we're going to end up with 5 over here. So these don't need to go on here. But I want them on here, so I'm just going to leave them. But you do not have to put any on this side when you do it, okay? I'm going to, just because I like the look of having 5 on the outside. And so I may end up, let's see, this should have been, yeah. The 3 need to be strapped over. If I wanted, I could go back and take those 2 off. But I'm not quite sure that's what I want to do. I think I want to see with just doing the 3 what we end up with. I just got too much glue on that one. If we wanted to, we could just go ahead and add 1 more. I have 2 little strips left. I don't know if it'd be the right, because really, let's see. Like, you could end up going ahead and adding this envelope, for instance, that I really wanted. I like to end with something the same size in the back that it is in the front, but it really is not necessary. So this is what you do. You don't put anything here. You go right here, line it up, and glue it down. Okay? But I think I did that last time, and I didn't like the way it looked. But that's all right. You can, whenever you make one, you can do it however you want. It is your little strapped, I don't know what else to call it, hinged. I'm sure there's an official name. I just decided to do this, and so I didn't want to try to spend all my time looking for a name. I know it probably has one. But now, when all this glue dries, I'll trim off any loose parts or add glue. So here's how it looks. And you know it's right in the beginning because there's not any straps here. And you know it's right in the back. Whoops, they're sticking because there's felt a big old blob of glue. There's no straps here. So, I don't know where that came from, but it stuck to something on here. Probably because I messed up the first time. But anyway, so that's how you know you've done it correct. And then as you flip, see, they want to stick. You have to really watch them. As you flip, you see they're kind of straight across. I got off a little bit there. But those are the kind of things you can think about when you're doing it, you know. Like, see this one right here? It got glue from another one, so I'm going to try to get that off. You can go a little glue crazy, and you guys know I have a problem with that anyway, right? Okay. Okay. Then we're going to flip it over. And if you see glue, you want to go ahead and get it off, because it doesn't look good on your project, okay? And then, see, they like to stick together. You really got to play with them at first and get all that, any extra glue. I haven't really been paying close attention to how much. And see, this is already loose, and I'll come back and get that. Okay, here we go. Yeah. This turned out fine. And you can tell they're right because they all are lined up to each other. And the only place they won't be lined up to each other is, I'm going to leave that one because it's enough, is the last one. But I will tell you, if it bugs you and you want to add some on the inside, go for it. I would try to cover the one here if I were doing that. I'd cover this one just to kind of give it some extra stability, like this, okay? If you wanted to. I did like this because I wanted mine to really be sturdy. But you don't have to. This is the proper way to do it right here. Okay, here we go. Some people, I noticed, do have a tendency to make a bigger space here. And if you notice, it's not necessary to have that big baggy inside. I don't like it as well. I did it more like that on this one. See? I don't like that as well. And I did add extras. I didn't know what I was doing when I did this one. But I didn't do too bad, considering it was my first one. So, yeah. All right, guys. I hope you will get over and check out Tracie's Etsy shop if you haven't. If you have, you know there's something else you want, right? All right, guys. See you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and hit the bell, and you'll get notifications when I send out new videos. Bye-bye.